good evening. Buenas tardes. Buenas noches. Jesus, what's wrong with me today? Anyway, good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. There's a lot of good news going around about Celtic, and there's a lot of nonsense going around about Celtic. It's about normal, really. But we've started a poll already. Yes, we have started a poll. There we go. I just switch that back down, just make sure everything is fine. Right, and I've done a poll already. Who should start against Aberdeen? Paulo Bernardo, Luke McCowan, Rio Hitate, or Arne Engels? Let me see what your thoughts are on the live. It's always interesting to get your Football Manager, FIFA, EA Sports analysis on it, and then we'll jump into the comment section and see what some people are saying in the comments. But first of all, we need to talk about the North Curve Celtic. Before we talk about the North Curve Celtic, we need to talk about ourselves first. Just a reminder that on Boxing Day, I am doing a Boxing Day all-dayer, One Celtic Fans View Boxing Day live on the 26th of November to raise money for the Celtic FC Foundation. Yep, it will be, hopefully it will be an all-day event, and I can confirm already, just 24 hours into the launch of the funding for the Celtic Foundation, we've raised £318 in 24 hours. Well done. It's nothing compared to what the Green Brigade done in the space of an hour, but I'm absolutely over the moon that we've hit £318 already. If you want to click, it's the pinned comment in the live, or it is the first comment in the comment section once the video goes live, or it is in the description of the video also. It will be in the description of every single video on the run-up until the day of the big day, St. Stephen's Day. Yep, and then it'll get taken down and we'll see how much money we've managed to raise. Once we get to £1,000 target, it will then be upped to 2,000, and then so on and so on until we can up it as much as we can on the day. Hopefully we'll raise a fantastic amount of money for the Celtic Foundation, which is an absolute fantastic cause, and we spoke about that in the live earlier, and if you haven't saw that, go back and see that. Anyway, the Green Brigade, although it's the annual food bank collection for the Green Brigade, this is a big well done to the Celtic fans. Yep, the people that go to the games, the people that spend their hard-earned cash every week and every second week going to Celtic Park, and to the fans that donated that go every single week to home and away games. They dipped their hands into their pockets once again, and Celtic fans, when they're asked to do this every year, it's always a fantastic amount of money that is raised, and along with the donations also. I should have actually got that up. Give me 2 seconds and we'll get the image up on the screen of how much money they actually collected, and just by the worldly means of television, as they used to say. We'll get it up there. And we'll go up. I'll just make it a little bit smaller. There we go. The annual food bank collection by the Green Brigade. Now, this is a big well done to every single Celtic fan that does go to games, because without you and without the money that every single fan, and without the food packages and the carrier bags full of food, the Green Brigade wouldn't be able to do this. They wouldn't be able to take all the glory. So a big hats off to all the Celtic fans. It comes under the Green Brigade banner, and they do distribute the food and the money to various charities around. It's a big hats off, nod of the hat to the Celtic fans who had the cash donations of £21,364.67. Iconic 67 right then there. They also collected 7 vans worth of food that has been distributed through various food banks across Glasgow and the West. A football club will be formed for the maintenance of the dinner tables and children and the unemployed until the last rebel, as their statement that basically went out on Twitter. They also went on to say on their post, a big thank you to all who donated to our annual food bank collection on Saturday. This is an enormous act of solidarity and generosity from all the Celtic support and those who need the help most this Christmas. And it's been seen over 25,000 times on Twitter, and it's about to see another 2,000 or 3,000 times on YouTube and beyond. Anyway, big shout out to them. There's a bit of breaking news tonight, and I want to talk about this particularly. There is a bit of breaking news. I'm just jumping through the comments. Mark, because they have the Celtic Foundation and they want everything to go through them so that they can then control the narrative. It's all political posturing and with the club and the Green Brigade. The club would never come out and openly say well done to the Green Brigade, and the Green Brigade are never going to come out and say well done to them, although the two of them are in dialect on a month-to-month basis with things, and they speak to the club on a weekly basis also. I don't think it is what it is. We just get on with it. Anyway, there is a bit of news, and I think this will concern Celtic and Scottish football. The Saturday 3 p.m. is an iconic time of day for football and football fans all around the world. It's the time of day when historically football was played. It's the time of day when we had the kick-off. It gives us time to go to the pub or finish work at 12 o'clock for those that used to work a Saturday overtime in the morning and maybe still do. And it gives you time to get ready to go to the football and have your day out with your mates. Go to the football and then maybe go to the pub afterwards for a couple of pints, and then stop home to the missus and get your dinner on the table and then sit down and watch your film, and then that was your Saturday night. Or maybe you went to the pub, I don't know. Taking the missus out for a meal, whatever. But there's been a big problem with the Saturday 3 p.m. kickoffs. There has always been a law within the UK which demanded, when Sky came into the ether of football within the UK and changed football forever, and the powers that be said that there should never be a kickoff at 3 p.m. The football clubs at the time said that they wanted fans to keep coming to games. Welcome to Scottish football. They wanted fans to still come to games, and they wanted the 3 p.m. to be sacred and not sacrificed. And in the next round of talks in the English Premiership TV deals, there is a suggestion that the 3 p.m. blackout is under threat. Now, how will this affect Scottish football? It'll affect Scottish football because we're on the same island as England. We share the same time zone as England. And we share the same kickoff times and everything like that. And there has been, I'll go into it all in a minute, but it says without the blackout is seen as an increasingly out of date by senior figures in the football, and it's said to be unlikely to survive beyond the season 28-29 when the TV deals come back up. The 3 p.m. blackout will come under intense pressure to be scrapped in the next domestic football broadcasting deals by the Premier League and the English Football League when they expire. The UK is the last country in Europe to have a blackout, which means that live football cannot be broadcast on a Saturday afternoon window. Senior figures inside the Football FA in England have told the Times newspaper that they believe that it's unlikely to survive beyond 2028 and 29. The increasing number of live matches on television is seen as making the blackout look increasingly out of date for the EFL. They're considering not retaining it for its latest TV deals. It's also seen as a push to fans who do not attend the matches towards watching them on illicit streams, although efforts are made to block these. And it was interesting that they talk about that because the hierarchy of the people that run the streams got arrested last week. They did get arrested last week, and it said that they had an income of over, what was it Missy said, about 200 million a year or something. And anyway, there was arrests in France and Italy and whatever. But it is what it is. Many people do enjoy watching these illegal streams. If you've got a Fire Stick, of course you do. You want to watch it. You don't want to pay Sky for the ridiculous amount of money. If they want to reduce, if they want to stop people watching illegal streams, reduce what it costs to watch football on the telly. I mean, if you're going to charge people £100 a month to watch football, people would be cheaper buying a season ticket. It's as simple as that. You'd be cheaper buying a season ticket and going to games, but people don't want to do that. Anyway, how will it affect Scotland? Well, the man that is on the ball regards to this in Scotland, anyway, is the SPFL Media Watch on Twitter. And he said, or they said, if this happens in 2028, 29, then I fully expect the SFA and the SPFL to be pounding on the door of the lawyers to get some compensation from the English FA. 5% of the English Premier League TV deal would be a fair amount. Just a reminder that the SPL had to force members to jump through hoops to comply. Where is it? Sorry, it's gone. Anyway, then he goes on to say a fair agreement would be a percentage of TV revenues and a number of exclusive TV slots, so a big Scottish games won't clash with Premier League matches. It's a number of changes to this year's Scottish Cup and the powered gas broadcasting from the fourth round onwards. We've entered a new broadcasting deal. Most importantly, we're going to have 5 games more. And talking about the Scottish Cup, it is going to be the fourth round draw tonight. So how do you feel about the TV deal? There go Firestick streaming service a rip. No, they're not, because they're still going to go on. The message that we got is it's all getting changed over. Ours is still running fine, and the guys are doing quite well, changing over all the servers and everything. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens. It is a good few years away. I mean, we are only in 2024, but the fact that they are looking at doing away with the televised blockage of football at 3 o'clock could ultimately have a devastating effect on Scottish football, because if people are going to start getting English football, I mean, and it amazes me the amount of people in Scotland and in Ireland. It's ridiculous the amount of people in Ireland that support English teams. When you think about what happened over the last 100 years, and but they fully pay their money and they back the teams vastly, and the amount of YouTubers that are making 10 times more than anybody in Scottish football coming out. There's ones coming out of Ireland that follow English channels, English clubs, and they're making an absolute fortune. And that was a big shout out to John Leslie. Where is the John? Anyway, he can't comment because I've banned him for the night. He decided to bump his gums and says, why are you overwhelmed with the amount of subscribers? Because subscribers means cash in your pocket. No, it doesn't. Subscribers doesn't mean cash in your pocket. So if anybody that thinks that subscribers do equal cash, they're wrong. It's not how YouTube works. So get it up here. And it all comes down to views. So that's where the hard work comes in. If I got £1 for every subscriber, I'd be laughing every month, wouldn't I? I'd be giving away cash like sweeties. I'd be doing £500 giveaways once a week if I was earning 20 grand a month on YouTube. You've got to be a Man United channel to do that. But anyway, that's enough. Goodbyes. They have something about the TV coverage. What would you see? Black Sausage Squared even says goodbyes. They have to do something about the TV coverage. They do have to something about the TV coverage, but I think that Scotland we're getting the slim pickings when it comes to Sky, and I would like to hope that maybe in 4 years' time, Scottish football and definitely Celtic would be able to be in a place where they can tell Sky to go and ram it. I, for one, wouldn't pay for Sky again, so I haven't heard from Michael Baz in early. He was on the live earlier, I think. Anyway, Tony says, I'm colourblind and can't tell the difference in the strips and loads of games. I never pay for premium subscription again, and this is the reason. That's maybe your telly, Tony, to be fair. It's maybe the fact you've got a black and white telly. If you can't tell the difference with the strips, because I'll tell you one thing, the TV I've got, my goodness, even supporting 2 clubs, I don't get that either. I just don't get that. The fucking dogs want to go out. Oh, Jesus. JT Boy says, Ian Aberdeen wears the hoops over his fleece jammies. Is he not? Oh, he's in the house though. He's in the house. Oh, this is it. He's good. This is it. He's in for the wind up now. He's in for the wind up because we play his team on Wednesday evening. Anyway, we're going to get talking about that in just a minute because we've spoken about everything else I wanted to speak about, and how much we are sitting on 318, and a big chunk of that was £100 was donated by Ian Aberdeen. I'll run through the people who have. There's €30 anonymous. That's come out of Ireland, that one, or maybe Spain. Anonymous, $50 another anonymous. We're all behind you. £20 played the £5 gift date. Another anonymous was £10. Lorna Gallagher with £20, anonymous with £20. Stephen Maguire with £50. Big Rabbi Niz with £5. Anonymous with $10. Chilpel with £10. Aberdeen FC with 100, and first up was Martin Withers. So thank you to everyone who has donated so far. And 24 hours in, I am more than happy that we've hit the 318 target. If we manage to hit around £200 a day all the way up to the 26th of December, that would be a fantastic amount of money that will be raised for the Celtic Foundation and the great work that they do on an ongoing basis. And today, for instance, they donated £10,000 to the Children's Hospital in Glasgow. Right, let's get back to the poll. Who should start against Aberdeen? Paulo Bernardo, Luke McCowan, Rio Hatate and Arne Engels. I could see where everyone's favourites are lying after the game from the weekend. But are you thinking about it the way that Brendan Rodgers would ultimately think about it? When you see the games that we do have coming up, we do play. This is an interesting start to the month, because I think it's the only time in the month where we have a full. Well, we don't have a week off because we're playing on Wednesday night. And will Brendan Rodgers keep the same team? That's us going from. Yeah, we're playing basically 3 days a week now until the new year. So with the first game kicking off on Wednesday at 9 o'clock here, 8 o'clock Celtic Park time, 8 o'clock Aberdeen time, will Brendan Rodgers, the manager of Celtic, revert back to the team that has served him so well up until now in the season? And when I say that, I say players that have... he thinks is his best starting 11 and can do it for him in big games. What I will do is I'm going to go on to here and I'm going to put what I think Brendan Rodgers may do, but there'll be a few caveats in it. Where's the text? But time. I'll put the time on. The time's not even on tonight. There we go. The time, no screen text. Will Brendan Rodgers change the team again? I think this may ultimately be the team, but I think it's going along the bottom of the screen now. I think that he'll have Schmeichel in goals. I think he'll go for Alistair Johnston. I think he'll go for Cameron Carter-Vickers as always. I think he'll change back to Trusty, and if he changes back to Trusty, there's a good chance that Taylor may get a chance. If Taylor doesn't play on Wednesday, look out, his time's up. Arne Engels will get back in the team. McGregor, Hatate, Kuhn, Kyogo Furiashi and Dyson Maeda. That's who I think that Brendan Rodgers will revert back to. We may be wrong. The guys that came in at the weekend did absolutely nothing wrong. But Brendan Rodgers will still be given the hope that he can retain the services for Taylor. If Taylor does not make the team on Wednesday and he's on the bench, I think it could be time that it'll tell us a lot. But with all the games that we do have between now and the end of the year, Brendan Rodgers has said that he is going to utilise the full squad. So a lot of people are still going for Paulo Bernardo and Luke McCowan. There's been 130 votes so far in 22 minutes, which is fantastic. And Hatate's getting 7% and Engels is getting 4%. Ooh. Interesting. Right, let's... Margaret has joined the One Celtic Fans View. Margaret Bingham, welcome to the One Celtic Fans View members area, Margaret. I'm sure everyone will give you a big welcome in the community tab, in the comment section. Chilpel says, why start Engels? It is beyond me, says Chilpel. The Scottish draw is tonight. Yes, it is tonight, Tony. It is tonight. And I don't think I'm going to be on long enough to get it. What game is it that's on tonight? Let me just see. It's Scottish Cup. It's on after the game of the Scottish Cup draw is on after the final game of the Scottish Cup this weekend, which is East Kilbride. East Kilbride are at home to Falkirk. You're expecting Falkirk to win that one all day long, aren't you? There are 34 minutes into the game of the third round of the Scottish Cup. I think this is the final match of the Scottish Cup 2025. 24-25 season, and it is Falkirk that are winning 1-0, and Alfredo scored in the 20th minute. That's all I'm saying. They scored in the 20th minute. Falkirk will win that. I can't see East Kilbride ultimately getting through past Falkirk. Falkirk are too strong a team and too higher a team to go out at that third round. Will Celtic get Falkirk in the next round? It could be a bit of a walk down memory lane for a lot of Celtic fans. Anyway, yes, the Scottish Cup draw is after the game tonight. I'm not going to be on for it, so check out the community tab and we'll put it up in the community tab. If it's not broke, don't change it. Big Des, what's you going on about? If it's not broke, don't change it. Are you talking about the TV deals? Keep up the good work, Kaiser. Getting that link out there. We are still sitting on 318. It's not going to go up much at night. It seems to go up more once we hit a wider audience. The audience that comes on at night, unless it's right after a game, is pretty much the same audience on a nightly basis. But we'll keep on plugging away, and if we can get £200 a day for the Celtic Foundation, that'll be a fantastic amount of cash that we will have raised over the month. And Paulo Bernardo's on 51%. Folk want Paulo Bernardo to start. Brendan, I'm sorry, but if you're watching, they have spoken. And Brendan's now sitting at home watching this going, Baz, why you got to ask these stupid questions? I'm the manager, you've got the team, right? Who gave you the team? Nobody. There's not been any leaks before anyone starts. Alfredo Fibonacci. Is he Fibonacci? Don't know. I have no idea. Stephen Johnson says, Michael, how are you? And I hope we're home at Dumbarton. They need the money. The thing is the next round of the Scottish Cup it generally doesn't, well, until last year. In the last couple of years, I suppose it has, but it's generally a game that doesn't fill the seats as much. Which I always think is a shame if we do get a home draw. Jim McClatchy says, I'm sick to the back teeth of saying Rodgers has to play Luke McCowan. Get a grip, Rodgers. He should be playing him before Arnie Engels. You've got to think about, he knows what he can get from Luke McCowan, right? And he's seen Luke McCowan up close and personal when he's been playing for Dundee. He needs to see the level that Arnie Engels can play to. He needs to see how he deals under certain pressures. He's a player that will come on leaps and bounds, but ultimately Arnie Engels, Paulo Bernardo, Luke McCowan are all going to be there and they're around the first team over the next few years. Callum McGregor's still got a good couple of seasons in him, so you need a strong team. You know, and it's okay for us to turn around and say, we need to be playing this player. We need to be playing Luke McCowan. He's better than Arnie Engels. He's got about 4 years experience, more than Arnie Engels. But Arnie Engels is the better technical player, I'm believed to be informed by our captain. He's got a real talent there. So Brendan Rodgers will use it. You're going to see changes in the team. When it comes back to the game this week, Brendan Rodgers will play that team that I've got along the bit in the bottom of the screen. And then when it comes back to Saturday, we then play Hibernian at home. And I think that you'll see Paulo Bernardo and Luke McCowan coming back in for the Hibernian game. But make no doubts about it. Hibernian are on a fantastic run. They've had, they'll be thinking that they can get back up there. When you look at the table, I mean, they've come off bottom of the table with their first win. They'll be hoping to try and get some points to try and stay above Hearts. Will they do it? No. But I think that the manager will use that game to bring in Arne Engels and Luke McCowan again, and he'll put the other players on the bench. There's going to be a massive lot. There's going to be more squad rotation by the manager. 2-0 Falkirk. Well, there you go on the Scottish Cup. Yep, just seen it. 2-0. Calvin Miller. That name rings a bell. Calvin Miller. Did he not come through the youth system at Celtic? Can't remember. The name rings a bell. Calvin Miller. Maybe did, can't remember. But anyway, you'll see a massive change in the Celtic teams over the space of December. It's the first time really that the manager has had such a good squad that the manager can allow players to have a game off, 70 minutes off in a game, come back on just to keep their fitness and keep their game fitness up to speed. We've never had that before. We've always, as a Celtic team, and as supporters, if we want to be a big team, right? If we want to be a big team, you can't play your best players every week. You're going to have to be able to have interchangeable players. You're going to have ultimately two players for every position, which we do have. And Brendan Rodgers will use that over the month of December because it's a crazy, crazy busy period. Gone are the days where the same players, the same starting 11 would pick itself for the majority of the season. Those days are done and dusted due to the exploits of domestic football, your 3 cups, your European football, your international football. If you look at the games that players are playing, I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Anyway, we move on. Hope Hearts. James Hearts get them stuck into the bottom of the league. I hope Hearts get stuck to the bottom of the league as well. I'm trying to read. He did. Yeah, he did. I thought he did, Kevin. I thought he did. The name rung a bell. Ex-youth player. Yeah, ex-youth player. There you go. See, some names just stick in your head and you're like, Anyway, I'm happy with any of our midfield 3 out of 6 playing. Yeah, it's a fantastic midfield that we've got. How we're going to get our money back on Engels, where McCowan is always going to be a bit player, like Miller's come through. How are we going to get our money back on Arne Engels? James Smith, come back in 2 years' time and answer your own question. Right? Answer your own question to that, because the feeling when you listen to Brendan Rodgers, the feeling that I'm getting from Brendan Rodgers and the way that he wants Celtic to be as a team, and you pick up on little bits that he says. Brendan Rodgers, he was he was asked the question, would you like to add to the squad in the next transfer window? And he said yes I would. And he wants the squad to get better. Who do you drop from this team to make the squad better? Who do you take out of this team to make the squad better? And more to the point, what type and what level and what kind of money are we spending on players to make this team better? He wants to go out and buy first team pick players, not potential possibilities that can grow into a position. Brendan Rodgers wants to go out. I've said it before, I think in 2 to 3 years' time, we can have a squad full of first-team players with a valuation of over 15 million. Each player will have a valuation of over 15 million. That's where Brendan Rodgers sees Celtic going. And ultimately, if we want to be successful in Europe, if we want to compete on all fronts, if we want to keep our dominance of Scottish football by winning the league every year, we need to be just pushing ourselves out. When you look at the money that other European clubs are spending and have spent, if we want to even just be able to stay in that middle section pot in the Champions League every year, finish between 8th and 24th, we're going to have to spend decent money. We're going to have to bring in decent players of a decent quality. You're not going to be spending £1 million on a player every single time. Those days are gone. Luke McCowan was a one-off. Matt O'Reilly was a one-off. You can sometimes pick up players like that as bargain prices. And I mean, if put it this way, if Luke McCowan was done in England, right? If Luke McCowan didn't play for Dundee, do you think that we would have got Luke McCowan for £1 million? Really? Is he a £1 million player in the wider scheme of things? And that's why I think that 2 years' time we'll more than double our money on Arnie Ingles, because Brendan Rodgers will make him progress as a player. The fact that he's only 21-year-old, I think it's fantastic. Big Des says, still is, Lenny gave him his first team start when he was 18. Enough of Miller. Who are they on about now? Still talking about Lennon Miller. If Taylor goes, it'll be the best Christmas present ever, says Celtic Mad. I don't want KT, he's always injured. His time is gone. Yeah, but I think that bringing him in on loan until the end of the season could be good. Luke McCowan is as good as John McGinn. And Aston Villa, Chilpil, they valued John McGinn at £30 million. £30 million. So if Luke McCowan, tell me in the comment section, if Luke McCowan was playing down in England and we bought him from a team in England, how much do you think that he's worth? Alexandro, Balde, injury worry, Valley to be... That's not going to happen, Big Rabbi. Stop. There's nothing in the Spanish press about it, right? Honestly, some Celtic bloggers and writers need to get a grip. There's nothing in the media about it at all. They're not going to bring him back, right? Honestly, gotta love Scottish football. One player gets injured for a team, and they see him, if anything, is to come back into the team next season, not this season. There was a thing came out in the paper. A reporter suggested in one of the papers that Barcelona were more than happy the way he was at Celtic, and they would not be recalling him no matter what happened. Right? So don't listen to these Celtic journalists. Because anyway, 8 million. Andrew says 8 million. Luke McCowan would be 8 million. Scotty Boy says, I'd put Luke in the 5 million bracket. Put it into perspective. Is he better? Is he... That would put him into the same price bracket as what we bought Scott Brown for from Hibs. We'd paid £4.5 million for Scott Brown, was it? And it was about the same age that we brought Scott Brown, or just a little. I think Scott was just a little bit younger than Luke, because Luke's 26. I think Scott Brown was Scott Brown 24 when he came to Celtic? I can't remember. I think he was. But when you look at it, he's not a £1 million player. Not a chance. And there's going to be players. Do you think that players that are at Man United, players that are at Arsenal, players that are at Man City, that are all worth tens of millions of pounds, because they're sitting on the bench, do they sit and throw, well, I'm better than him, but because I cost more? You know, it's a squad game. It is a squad game, and that's what we need to remember and think about. Connor Bannon is the best midfielder in Scotland by far. And he's scored nothing. He's got no assists. It's where Luke McCowan has the assists, and he has the goals behind his name. Actually, I'm going to go on to where is there we go. Well, there's some stats for you. Talking about the Champions League, this is the first time that we've won 3 consecutive home Champions League games in a season since 2007-2008 season. The first time we opened with a with 2 home wins in the Champions League since 2007-2008, when we won all 3 home games in the group stage that season. Nicholas Kuhn has become the first Celtic player to score 2 goals in a Champions League game since Moussa Dembele against Manchester City in 2016. I was at that game. Nico Kuhn has become the first Celtic player to score 2 first-half goals in a Champions League or a European game since Roy Aitken scored 2 in the 4-1 win against Partizan back in 1979. The club have won 2 Champions League games in the same season. It's the first time the club have won 2 Champions League games in the same season since 2012-2013 when they won 3. It's the first time that we've won a Champions League game after being behind since a 3-2 win away to Spartak Moscow back in 2012. And it's also the first time that we have won a Champions League game after conceding a goal since beating Shakhtar Donetsk. I was at that game as well, back in 2001. Shakhtar Donetsk in 2007. We won that game 2-1. So just some little interesting Celtic facts for you. Oh dear. I'm just reading something I thought it was really funny. Anyway, I said I was only going to stay on for half an hour tonight, and we're way past that moment. Let me just double check one more thing. Still sitting on that. We have had a rise in how much money we have made on the Just Giving One Celtic Fans Boxing Day live event. We now have 37% of our first target, which was £1,000. We've had 15 supporters, and a big shout out to Joseph Davison, who's paid £20, Gavin Bleakley, who's paid £20, and Paul Meekin, who's also paid £20, has taken the grand total up to £378. Just 24 hours, not even, it was about this time last night that announced it. So it's 24 hours into the launch of this, and it is going fantastically well. Oh my goodness, if it keeps going at this rate, I might have to be on for 6 hours or 7 hours on the day. That would be a fantastic achievement. If we even get half that, listen, if we even get £1,000, I'll be over the moon. I'm not going to set targets. I'm just going to see how much. I'm just going to push this every single day, every single video, and see how much money that we can ultimately make for the Celtic Foundation. Chilpel says, by the way, Ida's feet for his goals on Saturday was magic. Stephen Johnson, Ali Jones says, good evening, Spanners. Sinead is coming in from London. Big Des says, Michael, hope's good with you. Stuart says, Jim, in this current form, the goals, but the Belgian team, there must be a player to give him time. Exactly. When you look at the Belgian team over the last few years, they've had a pretty successful team. The fact that Arne Engels made it into the Belgian team just recently, it says that they have high hopes for him also. We need to stop knocking our players. He's going to be a fantastic player for Celtic. He's going to be a brilliant player for Celtic. Anyway, it's about time that we close down the poll. At the beginning of the video, 40 minutes ago, I did ask the question, who should start against Aberdeen? Will it be Paulo Bernardo, who's got 51% of the votes? Would it be Luke McCowan, who's got 38% of the votes? Would it be Rio Hatate, who I think will start? You lot think 7%. And will it ultimately be Arne Engels, who gets 4% of your vote? We have had 183 people on the poll tonight, which is a fantastic amount of people that have been on the poll. Thank you to everyone that has voted. We could have had that's a fair amount. I'm going to end the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The poll has ended. And just waiting on YouTube putting up. The poll's disappeared altogether. Come on, there it's there. They've took the 1% off Arne Engels. YouTube's horrible. YouTube's actually horrible. Imagine taking the 1%. That's typical of big corporations, isn't it? You've got to take a percentage off the lowest earners, and they've took 1% off Arne Engels. Disgusting behaviour, YouTube. Absolutely disgusting behaviour. The poll finished with 51% for Paulo Bernardo, Luke McCowan 38%, Rio Hatate with 6%, and Arne Engels, who had 1% stolen from his voting from YouTube, like they always do. Lorna Gallagher says, every pound is a bonus, Baz. Yes, every pound is a bonus, a fantastic bonus. And thank you to everyone who has donated so far, £378. It's a fantastic amount of money just in the space of 24 hours. And even if we can push it, even if it goes up, 10, 15, £20 a day until then, and I'll be more and more than happy with that. And my voice will be more than happy with the fact that if I don't have to do die on air. Stuart, so I've missed most of this. Nobody wants Engels to fail. I don't think Engels will fail, Chilpil. I think that he's an amazing player with an amazing talent. And you know what Celtic fans are like, and especially the modern day Celtic fan. They've been, ever since 2016, since Brendan Rodgers came to the club, I still say to this day that our best fan base is the fan base that were season ticket holders during the Ronnie Dyler years. Now, I've got all my season tickets up there from when I had. Did I still have 3 or did I have 4 then? 3 or 4 season tickets at that time in my name for the family, and it was the Celtic fan base, the true hardcore Celtic fans. Now, I'm not saying that you're not a Celtic fan if you weren't a season ticket holder during Ronnie Dyler years. Of course you were. You just sat in the house and didn't want to watch the football. But the hardcore of our support, cheers Big Des, the hardcore of our support is the ones that were there during the Ronnie Dyler years. And it's the ones that come in now that sit and watch the games on the telly and have got too used to Celtic winning. You've got to remember there is a lifetime of people that have never known anything else but Celtic to be successful. There's a generation of people that have never known anything else but Celtic being successful. And I think that for us is fantastic, especially for us older ones that lived through the 1990s and everything that we went through. For us that remember 1988 and winning the double in the centenary year, absolutely fantastic achievement. That roasting hot day at the end of May with the old Hampden and the open roof and the open stadium. The 90s were brutal, Chill. Yeah, they were. But I think that having gone from winning the double in 1988, that was the catalyst for David Murray to start looking at toppling the dominance of Celtic, Aberdeen and Dundee United and such. And we all know what happens then. The rest was history. The leagues were bought, the money was spent, and the club went bust and died. Diddums. What did Celtic do? Well, we went on to live another day, and the Rebels won. Out of the Cup by Cali Thistle. Don't even remind me about that. Right, let's get an update on the Scottish Cup. It's half time at the Scottish Cup. Falkirk 2, it's East Kilbride 0, Falkirk 2. Falkirk will make it through to the next round in around about just over 45 minutes time. I'm not staying on that long. 45 minutes time, we will get the draw for the Scottish Cup, so we'll be able to talk about that first thing in the morning. There won't be a live in the morning, there will be just a recorded video as well. Ali Jones says, I remember 88 Baz, the top was my favourite. Yeah, it was that, and I have got a copy of it. I don't have the original because it was way too thin then. Better start saving up for a trip to Turkey. Big Des going to Turkey? Why are you going to Turkey? Anyway, went to my first Celtic game in 1975, says Alan Stevenson. Wow. Mind you, I've known people that were at Lisbon. Big Des done it Saturday. I don't know, even know what he's talking about anymore. Anyway, that's me done and dusted for this evening. Have an absolutely fantastic day, evening, morning, wherever you are, Celtic fans all around the world. We're on a massive 20,062. Remember, we only hit 20,000 last night. We're in 20,062. The road run to 21,000 is on. That is the next target. And then it'll be 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. We want to try and get next year. Let's try and hit the 30,000. Let's try and be one of the big hitters when it comes to Celtic podcasters. And there's a lot of big channels out there that I've got to go up against. And you're not up against them. We all have a place within the Celtic and the football community. It's just about me working hard and putting out the content. Anyway, on that note, big shout out to Lorna, big shout out to Tam Mack, big shout out to Celtic Mad, big shout out to Rabbi Niz, big shout out to Stephen Johnston, big shout out to Lorna Gallagher, Chill Pill, Big Des, Hank, and everyone else, Stuart Ramsey, and everyone else that's in the chat. Anyway, there's been over 733 views on the video tonight, and 144 are currently on. There's a thumbs up of 75. Make sure that you do give the video a thumbs up. Lorna Gallagher's kindly posted the Just Giving page that is sitting at 378. Oh, it's went up again. It's at £398. John Gilmore has just added just seconds ago. I've just updated that. He has just put it up to £398. My goodness, if I thought we were going to hit 400 in the first day, wow. So we are 39% of the first target, which was £1,000. Once we reach that target, we will increase it. So have an absolutely fantastic day. This is mind-boggling. It's brilliant. Absolutely love it. Have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are. Tomorrow morning, we'll talk about the Scottish Cup, and we'll talk about starting to get ready for the big game, the massive game, the top-of-the-table clash when Celtic drive up to Aberdeen to try and extinguish the Northern Lights